On a quiet Saturday afternoon in the small, peaceful town of Meadow Creek, Eleanor Vance stepped out of a shoe store, clutching a box containing a new pair of shoes. They weren't expensive, but to her, they felt like a small luxury. At 73 years old, with a modest income, every purchase was considered. She started her walk home, a pleasant thought forming in her mind. A nice cup of tea, she mused, and then I can take a walk in my new shoes. The streets were unusually quiet, almost deserted. Suddenly, a sound behind her broke the silence. She had no time to turn, as a figure rushed up, struck her on the head, and violently ripped her purse from her grasp. Eleanor crumpled to the pavement, landing on her back. Dazed, she looked up and saw a lanky young man with greasy, long brown hair. He paused for a heartbeat, looking down at her with cold indifference, before turning and running away, her purse tucked under his arm. "Help, help!" Eleanor cried out, her voice weak, but no one heard. After a few minutes, she slowly, painfully, pulled herself to her feet and made her way to the nearest house. The residents were incredibly kind, offering her a warm cup of tea and calling for an ambulance, which soon arrived to take her to the hospital. At the hospital, a doctor examined Eleanor's head and back. "You're going to be all right," he said gently. "Just take it easy for a day or two. Can your husband help you at home?" "My husband passed away 8 years ago," Eleanor explained. "It's just me." "Well," the doctor continued, "we don't want you falling at home. I think it's best you stay with us tonight, and perhaps tomorrow night as well." Later, a police officer came to her room. Eleanor recounted the story of the purse snatcher. "Did anyone see this young man?" he asked. "I don't know," she said. "The street was empty when I called for help." "Oh, dear," the officer sighed. "What was in your purse?" "A little bit of money and a lottery ticket," Eleanor replied. "I buy one every Saturday. Then on Saturday evening, I watch the lottery drawing on television. I always play the same numbers: 5, 12, 23, 24, 38, 41. Each number holds a piece of my life. I was born on the 5th of December, 1923. I lived at number 24 Sandwich Road for 38 years. Yes, yes, the officer said, understanding. He jotted everything down in a small black notebook. "Did you see the man's face?" he asked. "Yes," Eleanor said firmly. "I did. When I fell on my back, he looked down at me for a moment, so I saw his face clearly." The officer opened a kit containing various drawings of eyes, ears, hair, and mouths. "I need to create a composite sketch of the man's face. Can you help me?" he asked. "Yes," said Eleanor. He was tall, with long, dirty brown hair. He was wearing blue jeans and a white t-shirt with a picture of a baseball player on it. He had brown eyes. Methodically, she selected the features and pieced together a picture of the young man's face, checking the composite image carefully. "What color were his shoes?" the officer asked. "Shoes." Suddenly, Eleanor remembered her new shoes. Where were they? She told the officer about them, but then the shock and violation of the day washed over her, and she began to cry, unable to stop. A nurse came to her bedside. "Please go now," she told the officer. "Mrs. Vance needs to rest." Ethan Riley returned to the cramped apartment he shared with his parents and slumped onto his bed. At 22, he had no job and no prospects. His days were spent wandering, looking for opportunities. Sometimes he stole from shops or cars, and sometimes, like today, he preyed on the elderly. He was furious. "I mugged that old woman," he thought, "and what did I get? $27 and some change, and a worthless lottery ticket." It was a cheap old purse, too. Ethan knew about lottery tickets. He bought 5 every week. He shoved Eleanor's ticket into his pocket and forgot about it, then went out for a drink. At the hospital, a nurse settled Eleanor into a bed in a room with 5 other women. A television was mounted on the wall, and at 8:00 p.m., everyone tuned in for the lottery drawing. For a moment, Eleanor watched, but the exhaustion from her ordeal was overwhelming. Soon, her eyes closed, and she drifted off to sleep, oblivious to the life-changing numbers being announced on the screen. On Sunday at noon, Ethan finally rolled out of bed and made some tea. He picked up his father's newspaper and scanned the winning lottery numbers: 5, 12, 23, 24, 38, 41. He checked his own 5 tickets. Nothing. Then he remembered the old woman's ticket. He pulled it from his pocket and checked the numbers: 5, 12, 23, 24, 38, 41. His eyes widened. He checked again, and a third time. 6 matching numbers. A surge of adrenaline shot through him. "I'm a winner," he screamed. He kissed the ticket, then ran into the living room and kissed his mother. "What in the world has gotten into you, Ethan?" said Brenda Riley. Ethan sometimes hit her, but he never kissed her. Her cigarette tumbled from her mouth. "The lottery. I'm this week's winner, Mom. Look, 6 winning numbers. I'm rich." Ethan's father, Frank, shuffled into the living room. "What's all this noise?" he grumbled. Frank, Brenda shrieked. "Ethan won the lottery. We're rich." "Wrong," Ethan snapped, his voice cold. "I'm rich." His parents began talking at once, but Ethan ignored them. He stormed out to the payphone on the street and made a very important call. On Monday morning, a police officer visited Eleanor at the hospital, carrying her new shoes. A little girl found them in the street and brought them to the station, he said. "How kind of her," Eleanor said, a small smile touching her lips. "We found your purse too," the officer added. "But it was empty, Mrs. Vance." "I'm sorry." "It doesn't matter," Eleanor said. "I'm just so pleased to have the purse back. My son gave it to me years ago. He lives in Australia, but he calls me every week. And now I have my new shoes, too. Thank you so much." Suddenly, she felt a wave of happiness. That evening, an ambulance took Eleanor home. She made a cup of tea and sat down to watch the news. The news anchor smiled into her living room. "And now, for this week's big lottery winner." The winning numbers were 5, 12, 23, 24, 38, and 41. And here is the man with the lucky ticket, Jason Williams. Jason is 22, and he is now a very rich man holding a check from the Golden State Lottery for $5 million. That's a lot of money. "So, Jason, how are you feeling tonight?" "Wonderful." "And what will you do with the money?" "Oh, I'm going to buy a mansion with 50 rooms and a huge, expensive car. I'm going to travel to New York." Miami Leaner stared at the young man on the television. Ethan Riley had a massive grin on his face, but he also had long, dirty brown hair and brown eyes. Eleanor sat bolt upright. "That's the man," she thought, her heart pounding. "I remember his face. He hit me, he snatched my purse, and he stole my lottery ticket, my winning ticket, with my numbers." She stood up and walked to the phone. "Hello, police?" she said. At 10:00 p.m. on Monday night, Ethan was euphoric. He was in a grand hotel ballroom, surrounded by people in elegant clothes. Television cameras, reporters, and officials from the Golden State Lottery milled about. Everyone held a glass, and a server circulated with a bottle of champagne. "Have some more champagne," she offered Ethan. His face flushed red. He snatched the bottle and took a long, sloppy swig. Champagne dribbled down his new blue shirt. He laughed. "Kiss me," he demanded of the server. Suddenly, the ballroom doors swung open and 2 men entered. "Hello," Ethan called out. "Come in, have some champagne. It's on the Golden State Lottery." But the 2 men weren't interested in champagne. They were police officers. The chatter in the room died down. "Is Ethan Riley here?" one of the officers asked. "That's me," Ethan said. "What do you want?" "We'd like to ask you some questions, Mr. Riley, at the police station. Please come with us." On Tuesday morning, Ethan was exhausted and miserable, sitting in a small room at the police station. 2 officers were with him. One stood by the door, watching and listening. The other sat at a table, asking questions. The same questions over and over. "Now," said the officer, "tell me again, where were you at 4:00 p.m. on Saturday?" "At home," said Ethan. "I'm telling you the truth. Ask my mother and father. I didn't steal anything." I'm not interested in your mother and father right now, the officer said calmly. I can talk to them later. At the moment, I'm interested in you. You were in town on Saturday afternoon. We know that because a woman saw you. No, said Ethan. That's a lie. I was at home all afternoon. I watched the baseball game on television. Tell me about the game, then. Who won? Ethan said nothing. His face and hands felt hot. When did the game end? 5-0, 6-0. Yes, no, said Ethan. I don't remember. The officer smiled faintly. How much money was in the purse, Ethan? There wasn't. Ethan stopped. Careful, he thought. Be careful. There wasn't a purse, he said. I told you I didn't steal the old woman's purse. Old woman? The officer asked, his eyes narrowing. Who said anything about an old woman? Now Ethan felt a chill. You did, he stammered. Oh no, I didn't, said the officer. I talked about a woman. So how did you know she was an old woman? He stood up. Ethan Riley, on Saturday afternoon, you assaulted Mrs. Eleanor Vance and snatched her purse. You stole her money and her lottery ticket. Her winning lottery ticket. You stole $5 million from Mrs. Vance. You're in serious trouble, Riley. Big trouble. I want to see my lawyer, Ethan said suddenly. He didn't know any lawyers, but it's what people on television always said. That afternoon, a different officer escorted Ethan to court. The courthouse was a large, gray building in the center of town. They waited in a small room. The officer didn't speak to him. Ethan felt sick with dread. Then a woman entered. She was young, with short brown hair and an intelligent face. She wore a black skirt and a white shirt and carried a large black briefcase. Mr. Riley, she said. I'm Sarah Croft, and I'm your lawyer. The officer left, and Sarah Croft sat down and began to ask Ethan questions. Soon, a man in a black robe came in. Are you ready to go into court, Ms. Croft? He asked. Nearly ready, John, said the lawyer. She turned to Ethan. I'm going to do all the talking in court, okay? I don't want you to say a word. Nothing important will happen today. They're going to send your case to the Superior Court. That's a more serious court. One, asked Ethan. Soon, can I go home tonight? He pleaded. Last night I slept in a cell. It wasn't nice. No, I'm sorry, said Ms. Croft. You can't go home. You see, you're a rich man now. You could buy a ticket to anywhere. The police want to ensure you stay in the country. But I want to go home. I can ask the court, said Sarah Croft. 3 judges sat at a long table and listened to the arguments. Then, the lead judge looked at Sarah Croft. This case must go to the Superior Court, she said. Ethan Riley will be held in custody. Excuse me, Your Honor, said Sarah. Mr. Riley slept in a police cell last night. He is very young and was understandably distressed. He would like to go home tonight, please. The judges conferred quietly for a moment. Then the lead judge said, Mr. Riley, you may go home tonight, but you must surrender your lottery check to the court. Why? Asked Ethan. We don't want you to flee the country, Mr. Riley. Now listen carefully. You must live at your parents' house, not leave the town, and report to the police station every morning at 10:00 a.m. Do you understand? Yes, said Ethan. When Ethan got home, his mother was frantic. We saw you on the news, she cried, with your check for $5 million. You're famous. I'm in trouble, Mom, said Ethan. Please phone the police. Tell them my son was home on Saturday afternoon. He watched the baseball game on television. Please, I can't say that, said his mother. It's not true. Would you like $10,000? Ethan asked suddenly. No, said Brenda Riley. I always tell the truth. 20,000, said Ethan. Why do you need me to lie to the police? She asked, her eyes narrowing. What did you do? You did something bad, didn't you? And now you want me to lie for you. But I don't tell lies. 30,000, said Ethan. Please, Mom, help me. I slept in a cell last night. I was in court this afternoon. They're going to send me to the Superior Court. Mom, $30,000. Think about it. Okay, son, Brenda Williams said slowly. For $30,000, I think I can tell a lie. But what did you do on Saturday? Tell me. Nothing, said Ethan. I didn't do anything. So why are they sending you to the Superior Court? Ethan didn't answer. His mother looked at him. And what about your dad? He was home on Saturday. He knows you weren't here. What about him? Okay, said Ethan. Dad can have 30,000 too, but not today. My check is at the court. I've only got $20 in my pocket. Ethan didn't sleep well. On Wednesday morning at 10:00 a.m., he went to the police station. I'm here, he announced. You have a visitor, said the officer. It's your wife. She wants to see you. Ethan's jaw dropped. My wife, he stammered. The officer opened a door and called, He's here, Mrs. Riley. A young woman entered the room. Hello, Ethan. Tiffany Riley was short and heavy, with long blonde hair and a bright red mouth. She looked at Ethan but spoke to the officer. Ethan is my husband, she said. Our son, Leo, was born 2 years ago. I loved Ethan, but he wasn't very good to me. He hit me sometimes. One night he broke 2 of my teeth. Then the baby got sick and cried a lot, and Ethan hit him, too. Leo was only 2 months old, and he hit a little baby. That's a lie, Ethan shouted. I didn't. Oh, yes you did, Tiffany said, then turned back to the officer. So I left him. I took the baby and went away. Ethan didn't look for us. He never gave me any money for our son. He went home to his parents and forgot all about little Lilo and me. I forgot about him, too. Then I saw him on television with a $5 million check from the Golden State Lottery. Well, I'm his wife. Lilo is his son. We want half of that money. Well, Mr. Riley, said the officer, is this woman your wife? Don't ask him. Ask me, Tiffany said. He's my husband and I can prove it. I'm getting a good lawyer and I'm going to get $2.5 million. Everybody wants my money, Ethan muttered. I'm going to see my lawyer. So on Wednesday afternoon, Ethan went to Sarah Croft's office. It was in a large building with a sign that read, Evans, Robinson, Dennis and Day. Why isn't your name on the sign? Ethan asked. Because I'm young and not a partner yet, said Sarah with a smile. I work for Mr. Dennis. Sarah's office was small, crammed with books on every surface. She cleared a stack off a chair for Ethan. So, Ethan, Sarah said, you have a wife and son. How do you know that? He asked. Your wife's lawyer telephoned me this afternoon, said Sarah. She wants a share of your lottery winnings. And because she's your wife and you have a 2-year-old son, she has a very strong claim. I'm not giving her a dime, Ethan said. She left me. She ran off with another guy and took our baby. She never called. I looked for her. I couldn't find her. I was heartbroken. Your wife tells a different story. She says she left because you were abusive. Is that true? I don't remember, Ethan said angrily. It was a long time ago. She just wants my money. Everyone wants my money, but it was my lottery ticket, so it's my money. Said Sarah. Perhaps it was Mrs. Eleanor Vance's lottery ticket. She remembers the numbers because they are significant to her. Ha, said Ethan. That old woman just wants my money because she saw me on TV. She made up a good story about the numbers. It was her word against mine. Did the ticket have her name on it? No. There are no names on lottery tickets, so she can't prove it was her ticket, said Ethan. She can't take my money. Perhaps she can, perhaps she can't, said Sarah. But she's going to need a good lawyer, and lawyers are expensive. So, that old woman wants all the money. Tiffany wants half of it. My mom wants 30,000 and my dad wants 30,000. You're forgetting someone, said Sarah. I don't understand, Ethan said. I told you, lawyers are expensive. I'm doing a lot of work for you. You can't pay me now because your check is at the court. but I can wait. Oh, thanks, said Ethan sarcastically. Very kind of you. Sarah smiled. Now, let's talk about the purse snatching. I didn't do it. Sarah looked weary. Ethan, I want to help you, but you're making it very difficult. Mrs. Vance saw your face. She's going to stand up in court and identify you. But it's not true. I'm going to stand up and say I was at home watching the baseball game, said Ethan. Ask my mom. How much are you paying her, Ethan? Sarah asked quietly. $30,000, wasn't it? Ethan's face flushed with anger. He wanted to hit her. She met his gaze, unflinching, and waited. Then she said, Ethan, in that courtroom, a jury is going to look at you, and they're going to think this is a nasty young man. He hits his wife, his baby, old women. He steals. He wins $5 million but won't support his own child. And he tells lies. They are not going to like you, Ethan, and that will not help your case. So please tell the truth. Say you're sorry. You're young. You can start over. But you must be honest with the court. Ethan was silent for a minute. Then he looked at Sarah. Okay, he said slowly. Maybe I took the old woman's purse. But that lottery ticket wasn't in it. It's my ticket. I bought it. I paid for it with my own money. Okay. Sarah Croft didn't reply. She just looked at him for a long moment. Then she said slowly, Okay, Ethan, you stole the purse, but it was your lottery ticket. On Wednesday evening, Samuel Vance telephoned his mother from his home near Sydney, Australia. He called Eleanor every week. She told him the whole story of the lottery ticket, and Samuel grew angrier with every word. Is your head okay now, Mom? Yes, thank you, Samuel. But I'm just so angry. That young man stole my ticket. Now he has a $5 million check, and I have nothing. I don't want to be rich, but I do want to come to Australia and visit you and Molly and my grandchildren. It's not right, Samuel. I had the winning ticket. She began to cry. Mom, listen, said Samuel. Go and see a lawyer. I don't know any lawyers, Eleanor said unhappily. Look in the phone book, said Samuel. There are lawyers everywhere, but lawyers are expensive. I can't pay a lawyer. I can pay for a lawyer, said Samuel. I'm wiring you money today. Don't worry about the cost. Don't cry, Mom. Put on your best dress and go find a good lawyer. Oh, Samuel, you're a wonderful son, and you're a wonderful mother. Goodbye, Mom, and good luck. Well, Mrs. Vance, how can I help you? It was Thursday morning, and Eleanor was in Arthur Finch's office. He was a large man with a red face and sharp blue eyes. It's about a lottery ticket, Eleanor began. Ah, the lottery, he chuckled. Everyone wants to win the lottery. But I did win, said Eleanor. It was my ticket. My numbers. Tell me about it, Mrs. Vance, from the beginning. So Eleanor told him everything. He listened intently. When she finished, he said, Those numbers on the ticket, tell them to me again. 5, 12, 23, 24, 38, 41. And you always play those numbers. Why, Mrs. Vance? Asked the lawyer. Every number is important to me. I was born on the 5th of December, 1923. I lived at number 24 Sandwich Road for 38 years. And my son, Samuel, is 41 years old. I see. Well, Mrs. Vance, Mr. Finch said, What do you want me to do? Please talk to the Golden State Lottery, Mr. Finch. They have my ticket. But Mrs. Vance, what can they do? All lottery tickets look the same. We can't prove it was yours. But we can. My ticket is different. Please listen. I always put a little kiss on my ticket. You know, an X. Why do you do that? My son lives in Australia. I'd like to visit them, but plane tickets are so expensive. So every week, I buy a ticket, and I think about Samuel and his family, and I send them a little kiss. He's a wonderful son. He calls me every week. The lawyer smiled. Yes, I understand, he said. My own mother lives in Wales, and I call her every week, too. Please go home now, Mrs. Vance. I'm going to make some phone calls. Come and see me again tomorrow. Ethan didn't sleep on Wednesday night. On Thursday morning, he got up early and made tea. What am I going to do? He thought. They're going to send me to prison for stealing that purse. But I'll say I'm sorry. Sorry to the court. Sorry to the old woman. Then maybe I can get out in what did my lawyer say? 18 months. Okay, so I go to prison, but I don't want to lose that $5 million. I need the court to believe it was my ticket. He remembered what Sarah Croft had said. They are not going to like you, Ethan. Okay, he thought. I'm going to do something nice. What can I do? Yes, I know. I'll give some of the money away to that charity Kids First Foundation. I saw them on TV last Christmas. They always need money. People can't say I'm nasty after that. The Kids First Foundation had a thrift shop downtown, and at 9:00 a.m., Ethan was at the door. Two women were working inside. Good morning, said the older woman. Can we help you? No, said Ethan. I want to give you some money. That's very nice of you, said the younger woman. Yes, Ethan said. I want to give $500,000 to the Kids First Foundation. $500, said the older woman. That's wonderful. No, no, said Ethan. Not 500, 500,000. The younger woman stared at him. Do you have $500,000? Of course I do, said Ethan. Well, I don't have it right now. It's at the court, but I want you to have it. The older woman glanced at the younger one, then back at Ethan. You don't have any money. Please go away. Yes, I do. I won the lottery, said Ethan. Okay, listen. Let's say 1 million. How about that? $1 million for the Kids First Foundation. The younger woman opened the door. Go away, the older woman said firmly. We don't want you here. On Thursday afternoon, Arthur Finch was in the office of the Golden State Lottery, speaking with its director, Mr. David Ray. He recounted Eleanor Vance's story. Look, Mr. Finch, said Mr. Ray. Mr. Riley had the winning ticket. We gave him the check. I'm sorry for Mrs. Vance, but there's nothing I can do. But it wasn't Riley's ticket, it was Mrs. Vance's. You can't prove that, Mr. Finch. All lottery tickets look the same. I can prove it, said Arthur Finch. Listen, Mrs. Vance's ticket is different. Every week, she puts an X on it. He explained about her son in Australia. Then he took an old lottery ticket from his pocket. This is one of her old tickets. Look, she always puts an X right here. Now, just go and look at the winning ticket. Mr. Ray left and returned 5 minutes later, his face grim. Well, said Arthur Finch, I don't know, Mr. Ray said. The tickets go through sorting machines many times. It's difficult to see. Mr. Ray, is there an X on that ticket or not? Mr. Ray looked annoyed. Perhaps there is, and perhaps there isn't, he said. But what does an X prove? Maybe hundreds of people put an X on their tickets. I can't tell you that it's Mrs. Vance's X. I can't, but the police can. Now, Mr. Ray, please call your bank and stop payment on that check. Next, give that ticket to the police. They're going to want it. Mr. Ray looked miserable. Yes, all right, he said. Then you need a lawyer, said Mr. Finch, because Mrs. Vance wants her money, and she wants it now. On Thursday afternoon, Ethan Williams went to Sarah Croft's office and told her about his visit to the Kids First Foundation. Sarah looked exhausted. Ethan, she said, what is all this? I don't want to hear any more lies. I'm telling the truth. I went into their shop, and they didn't believe me. Please call them MS Croft. I want to give them $1 million. Please tell them. But, said Sarah, your check is at the court. Yes, I know, but when I get the money, I want to give $1 million to the charity. I thought about it. I won all this money, and I want to do something good with it. For all those little children. I want to help them. Sarah studied him for a minute. Please, said Ethan, please help me. You said you wanted to help me. Okay, Sarah said suddenly. I believe you. You want to give away £1 million. She thought for a second. Write a letter to the Kids First Foundation. Write it here, now. Tell them about the $1 million donation and sign it. I'll co-sign it, and I'll take it to the charity's main office myself. Now, on Thursday evening, Sarah Croft went home. Her husband, Mark, was in the living room. Hi, honey, he said. Good day. Not bad, Sarah said. I'm on a very interesting case. It might even be on the news tonight. Let's turn on the TV. After about 10 minutes, the news anchor said, and now for an update on the Golden State Lottery. The winner was Ethan Riley, who received a check for $5 million. Now, Mr. Riley wants to donate $1 million to the charity Kids First Foundation. But is it Mr. Riley's money? Mrs. Eleanor Vance says it isn't. According to Mrs. Vance, last Saturday, a young man assaulted her and stole her purse, which contained a lottery ticket with the winning numbers. So, is it Ethan Riley's ticket or Mrs. Vance's ticket? Who will get the money? We have a legal expert with us to discuss the possibilities. Who's that? Asked Mark. That's old Sam Green, said Sally. He's a good lawyer, probably working for the lottery now. And who are you working for, Sarah? Ethan Riley, the man who snatched the old woman's purse. Yes, said Mark. Is he going to prison? Perhaps, Sarah said. But when he gets out, he might have $5 million. Or $4 million. But it's Eleanor Vance's money, Mark said. It was her ticket. Of course it was. Well, she says it was, said Sarah. But how do we know? She's an old woman. Old people can be forgetful. Maybe she forgot to buy a ticket that week. So the purse snatcher wins, said Mark, disgusted. He hits an old woman and wins $5 million. Wonderful. I know, Sally said. It's difficult to like Ethan Riley, and he has a wife and child he abandoned. But we have to be careful. Perhaps he is telling the truth about the ticket. Never, said Mark. The court will believe Mrs. Vance, not him. He's not just nasty, he wants to give $1 million to a children's charity. People are going to like that. What a nice young man. Mark laughed. Lawyers, he said. So, who's going to win? Sarah. The lawyers, of course, she said with a wry smile. $5 million is a lot of money, and we're going to have a wonderful time fighting over it. There are a lot of us, you see. There's Mrs. Vance's lawyer, Ethan's wife's lawyer, the lawyer for the Kids First Foundation, the lawyer for the Golden State Lottery, and me, Ethan's lawyer. We're going to be in court for days. And lawyers are very expensive. When we're finished, a significant portion of that $5 million is going to be our money. Sarah smiled. Mark, she said, shall we get a new car? A Mercedes, perhaps?